Hi, I'm Justin Ehly, and today we're going to be predicting daily temperature in New Delhi. New Delhi weather has a wet season that's hot and partly cloudy, and a dry season that's warm and clear, with the annual temperature variance of 7 to 39 degrees Celsius. We take a look at the data. It spans from the end of 2012 until the end of spring in 2017. Our response variable will be our mean temperature, and our explanatory features will be humidity, mean pressure, and wind speed. Applications of temperature. There's millions, but just a couple of simple ones. How are you going to dress when you leave the house? How much water do we need to put in our backpack? Do we need one bottle, two bottles? And how to set the thermostat, during the day so that we're not running our electric bill up too high. So let's kick off a univariate analysis. We know this is temperature data. It's going to be non-stationary. We can see here in the realization that we have a sinusoidal pattern. Our ACFs confirm that it is definitely not stationary. Let's blow that Parson window up there. It looks like our biggest peak in the Parson window is 0.002574, which gives us a period of 388.5. Let's note that that is very close to 365, which would be the days in a year. Played a little bit with the differencing. Only a first difference really had an impact on the data, so there is a potential 1 minus B. As we can see here, the ACF after a first difference isn't quite white noise. Additional test really didn't provide anything of use, and you can see we just ran the gamut of a bunch of different numbers. So to kick off, we used the AIC function, told us that an ARMA 6.2 would probably do a sufficient job of modeling this data. You can see my model here to the left. It's got mu of 25.16. It is an ARMA 6.2. The variance of the white noise is 2.51. I would like to point out that factor has a complex, the number one factor has a complex root with an inverted root or absolute value of 0.9967, which is just knocking on the door of that unit circle. But it's there, but it's not quite there. So we're just going to make note of it. We're going to move forward with the raw data as is, but we may need to come back and pull that out if we're not able to get a good model out of this. So we went ahead and created we generated some data from our model, and it didn't do too bad. It actually does kind of look like the temperature data. Went ahead and did a 21-day forecast. It's not perfect, but it's something. We got an ASC at 9, an RMSE at 3, a rolling RMSE of 137, let's call it 138. And if we take a look at the residuals, they do look like white noise. If we take a look at that ACF, and our L-Jung p-values do verify that they are indeed white noise. So this is a useful model. We go out to 200 days, and looky there, the model does a pretty good job of modeling the data 200 days out. Again, our ASE, a little higher, almost 10, RMSE still around 3. Our rolling RMSE was at 298 point and a half, really. So that went up. Next, we took a look at 4 different VAR models. The AIC said we should have a P of 6, the HQN said a P of 4, and the BIC said a P of 1. I went ahead and did a seasonal model, put an S365, and VAR select told us that we should have a P equals to 5. So just doing a 21-day forecast, the VAR with the P equals 1 actually did the best numerically. And we can see here on the chart that my model did capture the variability, but it didn't, it wasn't up there with the other guys. So that may be interesting moving forward. Right now, we're just going to call the VAR P equals 1 as the winner. Let's check those residuals. They don't look like white noise. It looks like there's more modeling to be done. The L-Jung values do confirm that the residuals aren't white noise. So this model isn't quite as useful as we would like to think it is. So let's look at a 200-day forecast. Lo and behold, my model, my intuitive model, does very, very well here. Visually, it looks very well. We take a look at the ASE, again, around a 9, which is where our ARMA 6.2 was, RMSE at 3. Visually, there it is with the confidence intervals. And if we take a look at the residuals, they do look like white noise, and we can double confirm that with the p-values from the L-Jung function that are very high. So that's a useful model. Next, I took a look at 3 different multi-layer perceptrons. I just ran a base MLP, then I tried to fit an MLP, and then I did a seasonal MLP because the seasonal model seemed to work the best in the VAR. 21-day forecast, kind of hard to tell if there's a real winner. We look numerically, and the seasonal MLP comes out ahead. So let's take a look under the hood of that one. So there are 12 inputs on this. So the univariate had 3 lags. Regressor 1 had 4 lags, regressor 2 had 3 lags, and regressor 3 had 2 lags. And then there are 5 hidden nodes, and that was run against 20 repetitions. Take a look at the residuals. They look okay. There's a couple of lags that are questionable, but looks like this model might be useful. We take that out to a 200-day forecast. Again, the seasonal model slightly beats out my FIT model. I should note that that seasonal model was tuned by the computer, not by me. But again, they're all coming out about the same. And they're not really picking up on from what I can tell, the seasonality in the model. They're picking up on some variability, but they're not doing a real good job of just modeling. So we're moving into an ensemble model. We're going to take the ARMA 6.2 and the VARs, my VARs with the seasonal 365 on a 21-day forecast. Visually, it doesn't look too bad. It's an ASC of 7.9, so it's better than each model did individually, because remember, they were both in the 9s. And the RMSE at 2.8, again, that's better than the individual models, which were both in the 3s. If we look at the 200-day, again, visually very, very appealing. Got the lowest ASC we've seen yet at a 6 and RMSE just under a 2. So again, this model looks very useful. So for final model comparison, again, that VAR P equals 1 numerically looked the best on a 21-day, but I would lean towards the VAR that I put together with the S equals 365 and a P of 5, just because we know that it puts off white noise residuals. And then for the 200-day forecast, I would move towards the ensemble model because it did actually perform the best. So thank you so much. I'm Justin Ehly. I can be reached at jeely@smu.edu.